Hi, I'm Hamid Fairuz and my topic is Art and Crafts Revival via Urban Development. The paper mainly focuses on reviving declining traditional art and crafts in India by giving it a part in the nearby urban development. By this, the craft gets more exposure and the city gets a unique identity of the culture of its own place. The aim of the paper is to study the ways of incorporating a traditional craft into a modern city development. To narrow it down, I have taken a single example of Channapatna toy making craft of Karnataka and the ways by which it can be uplifted by associating it with Bangalore, which is just 60 kilometers away from the village. The paper has a huge scope as India is rich in art, craft, and culture, so developing cities based on this can create a unique identity to the nation as a whole in terms of culturally important cities. The paper only focuses on a single craft and a city, so as to apply this to other cities, separate studies have to be done, and that's the limitation. Literature review consists of study on crafts as a whole and the crafts of India, which goes on to live case study and side study of the traditional craft of Channapatna toys in Karnataka and its association to the Bangalore city. Inferences from case studies are information on craft, decline of Indian craft industry, and unique city identities and business opportunities based on cultural cities. The global market for Indian crafts makes the upliftment aim of the study stronger as it becomes a need when the market is there. Identified knowledge gap. The cities like Paris, Sydney, and Bogota, Amsterdam, etc., use traditional crafts for city development. This is not effectively implemented in India, yet thus lies a huge potential for the study. Coming to the research methodology, it was done through literature review of craft industry in India, craft industry globally, which leads to case studies abroad. Then through literature case study and live case study of Channapatna toy craft and Bangalore city development. When to go, it leads to global case studies of cities and it leads to research results for strategies. Coming to literature case studies, the first case study is Paris. Paris have rich culture, legacy, and usually have used it to development of the city. The table shows the number of cultural indicators in the city. They have adopted a strategy in which many programs were introduced to raise crafts and craftsmen all over the city. This resulted in increase in cultural openings and easy access to the culture of the place as a whole, as Paris is mostly filled with tourists who don't have any idea of the Paris culture. So it's a great opportunity for cultural upliftment. Case study 2 is Bogota. Bogota is the capital of Colombia. It is famous for its graffiti culture and nightlife. There was a small number of tourists visiting the city, as we can see from the table here. So they made use of the locals to revive the declining graffiti culture of the place. Today, the city itself is known as the city of graffitis, as locals were incorporated in collaborating for painting the walls of the streetscapes. The complete streetscapes were redesigned for the cultural upliftment of the place. Case study 2 is Los Angeles. Los Angeles is famous for its showbiz and entertainment industry. This made the art and crafts of the city forgotten and declining. So they made a strategy approach which called Arts for All through schools of the city. The number of students for art and crafts was low in Los Angeles, as we can see from the table. This strategy for of Arts for All made art students, number of art students joining the course in large groups, and the curriculum was changed for teaching arts in schools. Case study 4 is Sydney. Sydney is the biggest city in Australia and is rich in cultural heritage. As we can see from the table, there is a large number of cultural infrastructure present in Sydney. But to further improve this, the city introduced the strategy to spend 34 million US dollars for craftsmanship and cultural upliftment, which included 25 million worth creative hub. The result was an advancement in economical, social, and cultural field of the place. Major inferences from the last case studies were the strategies were different for each cities and was based on each city and culture of the nation. So we have to formulate strategies based on Bangalore's social environment. Coming to the live case study of declining craft Channapatna toys. Channapatna is a village 60 kilometers away from Bangalore and is famous for wooden toys since 2 centuries. It was started early at the time of Tipu Sultan. Early on, manual potteries were used for toy making, which had later replaced by heavy machinery. But the huge market share for cheap Chinese toys had declined the market for these wooden toys. But during the course of past 10 years, India's foreign policies have been updated, which made it difficult for the Chinese import. The potential of revival of the craft is yet to be taken over by businessmen. Only a single production unit is there in the village. Bharati Arts and Crafts. Inference from live case study of Channapatna toy making craft is the huge market for wooden toys are on the verge of revival as the foreign import policy of India is strict now. So there is huge potential for wooden toy market. This needs a global stage and marketing for upliftment, which Bangalore is a near solution for Channapatna, and it can provide the upliftment we need for the Channapatna toys. Case study of the associated city, Bangalore. Bangalore is one of the fastest growing urban agglomeration in Asia itself. So if we can make Channapatna toys a part of this development, it can emerge as a global brand. This can help in giving Bangalore a unique city identity apart from the skyscraper trends of modern cities. According to the proposed land use plan of Bangalore for 2031, the Central Business District CBD is the place where residential zones which are shown in yellow are mostly turned into commercial zones shown in blue. So this is the area where we can implement the concept of culture, art and crafts and Channapatna toys for business. Creating a cultural plus commercial street or a museum plus experience center for Channapatna toys can very well be implemented for uplifting the craft. From the live case studies of Channapatna toys and Bangalore itself, there emerge a number of strategies to be proposed for the upliftment of Channapatna toys. Making more cultural venues and conducting cultural programs involving Channapatna toys in Bangalore is the first case. For the second one, to collaborate with schools and colleges for workshops or exhibitions to make future generations aware of the Channapatna toys. The third one is to create identity infrastructure with large scale production units for the development of Channapatna toys. And fourthly, to provide supporting infrastructure development guidelines for spaces associated with the craft in the city. As for the discussion part, the promotion of a craft to a global scale from a village can be fruitful, but it can be carried out in many different ways. From a designer's perspective, anything of the craft can become a part of the city development. Even a pattern on the craft can become a part of a facade pattern of buildings, or material similarities or something can be carried out too. To conclude the paper started off as a study on the ways in which a declining craft can be revived by associating it with the nearby urban development, thus providing the craft better exposure and providing the city an identity. This will make every city have a character of its own, and the craft a name and identity famous enough for its own good. The paper have been narrowed down to Channapatna toy production craft and its neighboring Bangalore metro city as an ideal example in the context of India. Strategies proposed were of conducting programs, providing infrastructure, collaboration with educational institutions, and guidelines for urban development. These kind of study and strategies can be expanded to various Indian cities and a craft nearby. By these points, I can say that the research paper has the potential of bringing about Indian cities as cultural cities in future. That's the end of my research paper. Thank you.